Hello everyone, this is Mishasan. I'm a content writer and a freelancer, and as of 2020, I am also a student of Muhammad Ghilajan University. This video was an assignment to present a solution towards a recent problem for the course of current issues in human resource management by Muhammad Sir Ghulam Muhammad. But this video is generally very beneficial because I have especially made this video for the Pakistani audience. So the most prominent problem today is the rapidly rising unemployment rate, which is surprisingly most high among the youth and even in the youth, young women. What's even more surprising is that this problem is going to last for a very long time even after the pandemic is over. And for particularly Pakistani audience, poverty and with it inflation will only continue to rise. So in a situation like this, unemployment becomes a matter of life and death. The solution I present to you is freelancing, not because I am a freelancer, but because freelancing industry continues to grow amidst COVID-19, even when other industries are suffering terribly. So it is a service based model where you decide where you work, with whom you work, what you work at, and what rate you work. So while I was planning this video, I went around and asked all of my class fellow from the course of current issues in human resource management to ask me a question about freelancing. And here is a summary of all their questions, which I will be answering with two other renowned Pakistani freelancers. Hisham, who is a freelancer and founder of Being Guru, Informist, and Rozgar Pakistan. These are platforms where international clients connect with Pakistani freelancers. And second, Khalilullah Khan. He is a Pakistani content writer and freelancer who earns more than 100K per month Pakistani rupees. Both of these freelancers have their own YouTube channels and websites where they provide free service and aid to upcoming freelancers. So I highly recommend you guys to go and check out their channels if you want to learn more. The first question I will be addressing is who can freelance. Literally anyone can freelance. You don't need a degree for that. Your qualification actually doesn't matter. All you do need is good communication skill, good English skills. So before I get into the technicality of freelancing, let's go over its pros and cons. The pros, as most of us know, is the extra pay that you will be getting, minimum of 1,500K per month, even if you're working part time. Savings on working from home, I'm guessing that you have already noticed by now. Flexibility of time, obviously. Work client in terms of work are always of your choice. So these are the pros, which are pretty obvious and everyone wants to talk about it. What generally gets left out is the disadvantages of freelancing. So freelancing is a digital mazdoor, to be very blunt. So just like how a labor goes out every day to find in search of work, freelancer is just like that. So if you're planning to freelance for the rest of your life, this is what your rest of your life going to be. So then there is patience, because there will be week after weeks where you won't have any replies from the clients. You won't have any work. Sometimes that has happened, that will happen in the future as well. So there's another disadvantage of freelancing is time management and inconsistent workload. Sometimes you will get heap loads of work, sometimes you just won't get any. That's just how it is. Plus you do your own taxes, which I don't think is a particular disadvantage for the Pakistani audience, because we pay zero in taxes for the freelancing. And obviously, since you're not affiliated with any organization like an employee, like a regular employee, you won't be getting any medical or insurance or other benefits that a regular employee gets. And while I mentioned the minimum earning, here's how you can earn through freelancing. You convert your features of the service that you're offering into benefits. So most freelancers in Pakistan are part-timers, which is an ideal situation. You can easily earn 20, 40, or even 50, 100K per month minimum when you're working part-time. But when you're working a full-time freelancer, you can easily earn 100K like Khalilullah Khan, or you can get into the average 60, 70, or 80K. Now I know these numbers are pretty vague and average and all over, so you will get a you can actually drive out a very specific number for your revenue goal in the future slides that you will know. So it is very normal to work in the international market for a Pakistani writer. A Pakistani expert is an equivalent to a UK beginner, but even in that situation, you will be earning 5 times more than what you will be earning in a local market. So I highly encourage the freelancers to go to aim for the international market, but I also recommend you to go there in phases, not just directly into the international market, because if you mess up in the international market, you will get bad reviews which will either have you banned from the freelancing platform or will be very negative for your whole career. So, in a podcast or webinar, here's what Hisham Sarwar had to say about the average income of the freelancer.
So what is the average monthly income of a freelancer who's working full time as a freelancer? Based on your experience, what's the range like?
خالد صاحب کیا سوال پوچھا؟ 20 لاکھ کا جاب کرنے والا اس کی تنخواہ 20,000 بھی ہو سکتی ہے اور اس کی تنخواہ 20 لاکھ بھی ہو سکتی ہے. تو فری لانسر بھی کوئی ایکسیپشن نہیں ہے سر. تو 20,000 بھی ہو سکتا ہے اور 20 لاکھ بھی ہو سکتا
آئی تھنک ڈپینڈ کرتا ہے آپ کے پروجیکٹس پہ، آپ کتنا اس پہ
ہے.
ایفرٹ ڈال
سر
رہے ہیں.
آپ پہ کسی اور چیز پہ ڈپینڈ نہیں کرتا حضور. عمر صاحب آپ پہ ڈپینڈ کرتا ہے آپ میں کتنا دم ہے، آپ کتنا اپنے اسکل کو پکا کر چکے ہیں، چاہے وہ کمیونیکیشن ہو، چاہے وہ سافٹ یعنی کہ سافٹ اسکل ہو یا پھر وہ ٹیک اسکل ہو، ہارڈ اسکل ہو. آپ پر ڈپینڈ کرتا ہے کہ آپ اپنی اسپیس کیسے ڈومینیٹ کرتے ہیں. اور اس کے بعد تو ریسٹ سیکنڈری. بڑی پیاری بات انگریزی کی کہاوت ہے کہ منی از اے بائی پروڈکٹ آف سکسیس. اب یہ انکم کو سوچنا چھوڑ دیجیے، آپ یہ دیکھیے کہ میں کامیاب کتنا ہو سکتا ہوں. جب آپ کامیاب ہوں گے تو پیسہ تو گھوم ہی جائے گا، کہیں نہ کہیں سے آ ہی جائے گا.
Fake and authentic job offers. A job that asks for registration fee, just don't work for them. So these are the three markers that I took out from my time in working online. So the first red marker, that red flag that you should notice, okay, if a person, if a client asks you to pay a certain amount before you actually work for them, just don't work for them. These eyes are not authentic. A platform fee is a completely different thing. That is not what I'm talking about here. Registration fee is any amount, any sort of amount that the client asks you to pay before you actually get to work for them. So they just don't do that. Don't work for them. The second type of people are the people that ask you to write the first task or provide you the first of your service. So what happens is these people take your work and they say that it's not up to their expectation, you fail to follow their standards, some any other excuse that they can come up, and they say since it's not what we asked for, we're not going to pay you for that. So you spend your time and effort on this, on making that up, but you won't get anything in return. Plus, those clients will most probably end up still using your piece after denying you the payment. So how you can get out of this is you can have your samples and portfolio, which I highly recommend you guys to do. But if you don't want to do that, you can have your samples of the service that you're providing published under your name on platforms like medium.com. These places allow you to publish your stuff, your services, free of cost under your name. So you can just provide a link to these platforms where you have publicly published your service, and that can work as a sample of your work. So that's how you can get out of this one. The third kind of people that might offer you the fake offers are somewhat tricky, because these clients ask you to pay monthly. So you work for them. What can happen is you work from them the whole month, and by the end of the month you won't get anything because they just don't pay. So if a client does that, if a client asks you that they will pay you monthly, not immediately on the delivery, so what you can do is you can ask them to pay you the first installment right after the first piece that you deliver, the first service that you provide. Because if this party is a paying party, they will have no problem in paying you the first installment and then continuing going the monthly process. But if they are not a paying party, they will not pay you monthly, they will not pay you the first article either. So just don't work for them. So that's how you can spot some fake and authentic offers. Khalilo Khan tells us 3 ways to get into freelancing contract. This is the phases that I was mentioning before. You start if you are a new freelancer, if you're a beginner, I highly recommend you to start out on the local market through social media groups. What happens is you get freelancing contracts through social media, websites, Facebook group, Instagram, LinkedIn. These marketplace is low risk. Plus, it's supposedly a good investment for first timers because you don't need to leave your job for that. Even and if you mess up, it won't have that much of a big impact on your career. Firstly, secondly, the main goal of working in the social media group or the local market is for you to understand how the client communication works out in your industry. So to get that down, you first need to work in the local market. Once you have captured the local market, once you have gotten a good idea of how the procedure works, you move on to the freelancing marketplace. There are two types of marketplace. There's a bid market and there's a gig market. So the bid market is a place where clients from all over the world publish their work and you go bid for that work. You as a freelancer go bid for that work. So platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, Freelancer, People Per Hour, Google.com, there are just so many platforms like that, but some platforms ask for a platform fee. On Upwork there's 20%, on Fiverr there's 20%. Freelancers and People Per Hour, paper places like those, they don't ask you to pay anything. So the thing is, the difference between the one that asks the platform fee and the one that don't is usually that the platforms that do ask the platform fee, these platforms actually provide the most authentic and high paying clients. That's the difference, main difference. The second market is gig market, where you make up a profile and clients come and find you. So if you're planning to go for the gig market, I highly recommend you guys servers gig making video where he shares his screens with you and actually make up a gig. So you can learn to make a very good gig where you can get good contracts from those videos. I asked him a couple of questions about having multi-person platform strategy and
अच्छा, इनका एक और क्वेश्चन था कि काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन है कि मल्टीपल, जिस तरह आपने 3 बताया, फाइवर, अपवर्क, तो हर जगह अकाउंट बना के अपना पिच करते रहें या एक जगह फोकस करें और वहीं पोर्टफोलियो बना के
मल्टीपल करें, खोल के खेलें क्योंकि आपको पता नहीं होता कौन सी फ्रीलांस मार्केटप्लेस आपको पसंद आ जाए. मैंने इलांस पे भी बनाया था और मैंने आईटी मूनलाइटर पे भी बनाया था और मैंने रेंटा कोडर पे भी बनाया था. आखिरकार आईटी मूनलाइटर पे बैठ गया मैं, जो कि
अच्छा,
बाद में
उसमें ये नहीं होता कि एक जगह आपका पोर्टफोलियो बन रहा होता तो एक ही जगह फोकस करें, जिस तरह आप अभी बता रहे थे ना कि पैसे आ रहे हैं, बन रहा है,
फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
ऐसे.
कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. काम बढ़ाएं अपना जितना बढ़ा सकते हैं.
Okay, so the third part is direct contract or private invitation. So this is an optional step. You don't need to go further for this one. You can easily skip this, but it is a thing if you're planning to go for more growth, then you can actually follow this up. So what happens is you basically skip the middle platform. You make up a direct contact with the client or have a private invitation to those clients. So when you do that, if a client is agreeing to do that, that generally means the client is able to pay you more, has the capacity to pay you more, so you can ask for good rates, even better ones than the ones you are already using. So how you can get direct contracts is through cold pitching. So you send out like 100 emails, then you will get 3 or 4 emails in response to that, but that is only if those emails are really good, well maintained and well curated. So that's how these are the phases of how you contracts. If you're wondering how to price your service, I highly recommend you going for the 70-30 formula. This is the formula you see on your screen right now. 30% includes your taxes, which I've already mentioned. For Pakistanis, though, that is zero. Personal and business expenses and the savings that you're planning to get out of this revenue, and the 70% is your earning. So whatever number you come up with this after this calculation, it should be your revenue goal. You don't need to follow the 20, 30, 50k, 60k, 70k, 80k or 100,000k formula. You can start with this one. Another factor that affects the price of your service is where your client is from, because some countries generally have a good purchasing power. For example, you can use USA clients do usually pay more than Indonesian or Bangladeshi clients, which is just a fact. That's how it is. So there are two types of client that you should know about. There's the local client and there's the international client. For the local one, bank transfer work just fine. You can go for Easy Pesa, but it is highly not recommended, sorry, because that is a temporary solution and you will eventually need to have a bank account. So just go for the bank transfer for the local clients. But for the international client, there are three authentic and legal sources you follow. That is the Payoneer account, the TransferWise, and the Zoom. For more information on these, I highly recommend you to check out Khalilullah Khan's freelance payment videos, where he has broken down all of the do and how you can form an account and how you can get your payments to come directly to you. As I've mentioned before, you will be a taxpayer, but you will pay zero in tax. Again, check out Khalilullah Khan's video. Here's what Hasham Sarwar had to say about freelancing payment in Pakistan when I asked him about it.
हमेशा क्वेश्चन है कि पेमेंट इश्यूज बहुत सारे होते हैं यहाँ पे, वो कंसिडर कर रही हैं फुल टाइम फ्रीलांसिंग बिकॉज हमारा पेपैल नहीं है. ये पहले भी बहुत लोगों ने पूछा था. तो शाम तो कैसे नॉर्मली यहाँ पेमेंट्स कैसे राउट होती हैं?
हर तरीके से आती है. यही ये सवाल तो मैंने अपनी वीडियोस में भी बहुत ज़्यादा कवर किया. ना आपको पेपैल की ज़रूरत है, ना आपको हुंडी से पैसे लाने की ज़रूरत है, ना आपको अपने कज़न के अकाउंट में अमेरिका में पैसे दिलवाने की ज़रूरत है. तमाम फ्रीलांस मार्केट प्लेसेस आपके पाकिस्तानी बैंक की इंफॉर्मेशन लेती हैं या पेयोनियर की लेती हैं. आप पेयोनियर कार्ड मंगवा लीजिए, $25 का टोटल. उसके बाद आप सारी उम्र कैश पाकिस्तानी बैंक से लें, पाकिस्तानी बैंक की वायर इंफॉर्मेशन दे दें. आज विड्रॉ करें फ्रीलांस मार्केट प्लेस से $100, कल 96 या $94 आपके अकाउंट में पाक रुपी में कैश होके आ जाएगा. बहुत पुरानी बातें सर, तकियों सी बातें. ये पेपाल नहीं आ रहा, ये नहीं आ रहा. जरूरत ही नहीं आपको पेपाल की जरूरत उसको है जिसने ई कॉमर्स का काम करना है, जिसका ड्रॉप शिपिंग का काम है, जिसने कोई प्रोडक्ट बेचनी है. आपने कौन सी प्रोडक्ट बेचनी है? आप तो सर्विस इंडस्ट्री के साथ ताल्लुक है एज अ फ्रीलांसर. आपने सर्विस देनी है, क्लाइंट ने आपको पैसे डायरेक्ट देने ही नहीं है. उसने तो पैसे आपको जिस मार्केट प्लेस पे आप काम कर रहे हैं उस पर देने. फाइवर पे काम करें तो फाइवर पे देगा, guru.com पे करें तो guru.com पे देगा, अपवर्क पे काम करें तो अपवर्क पे देगा, सो फोर्थ. बाकी फाइवर, गुरु, अपवर्क तीनों पे जिस भी पोर्टल पे आप काम करते हैं, जब आप पैसे कमा लेंगे, आपके अकाउंट में पैसे शो हो गए, तो उसको विड्रॉ आप अपने बैंक अकाउंट में कर लें, एक दिन में आ जाते हैं. पता नहीं ये पेपैल की मिसकंसेप्शन किसने छोड़ी हुई है और लोग क्यों परेशान हो जाते हैं.
ये हर दफा यही चल रहा होता है, पेपैल नहीं आ रहा, पेपैल नहीं आ रहा, किस तरह हमारा
पेपैल
काम
को
चलेगा?
करना क्या है मुझे समझ नहीं लगी. अगर आपने मार्केट प्लेस से काम ढूंढ रहे हैं, तमाम अपनी अर्निंग्स मार्केट प्लेस के अंदर रखें, ताकि जब अर्निंग्स रिफ्लेक्ट होती हैं आपकी प्रोफाइल में, तो आपकी प्रोफाइल भी बढ़ती जाती है. अगर आप क्लाइंट को डायरेक्ट लेके आ गए अपने चाचू के पेपैल पे या अपने पेपैल पे जो कि दुबई में आपने खोला हुआ है, तो मार्केट प्लेस पे तो अर्निंग रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं हो रही. मार्केट प्लेस तो उधर की उधर ही खड़ी हुई है, जीरो अर्निंग पे. तो एक दफा जुगाड़ होके किस्मत ने आपका साथ दिया, काम मिल भी गया, दूसरी दफा नहीं मिलेगा. बहरहाल अगर अपने आपने फ्रीलांस मार्केट प्लेस पे अपनी सारी अर्निंग्स रखी, उनके थ्रू कैश विड्रॉल किया टू योर बैंक, तो अर्निंग्स रिफ्लेक्ट हो रही हैं आपकी प्रोफाइल में. फ्रॉम 0 to 100, 100 to 1000, 1000 to 10,000, 10,000 to 100K, and so on and so forth. Higher the earning, more the chances of you grabbing the attention of potential new employers. ना
अब
पेपैल
बहुत
का करना ही कुछ नहीं है इन्होंने. अच्छा, क्लाइंट ने आपको पेपैल से पैसे देने हैं. आप फ्रीलांस मार्केट प्लेस पे उसको इनवॉइस करें, चाहे क्लाइंट उसको चेक से पैसे दे फ्रीलांस मार्केट प्लेस को, चाहे पेपैल से दे, चाहे क्रेडिट कार्ड से दे, मास्टर या वीजा या डेबिट, व्हाट डिफरेंस डज इट मेक. आपके पास आखिर में अकाउंट में फ्रीलांस मार्केट प्लेस पे पैसे आएंगे, वो आपने अपने बैंक में निकाल लें. इसमें आपका पेपैल के साथ कोई संबंध ही नहीं मान रहा.
So the tools required in freelancing, essential, there are basically two types of tools that you need in freelancing, but you don't need to actually spread it out thin. It's very simple. The essential work tools and payment tool, for me, that's the bank. Technical tools, for me, it's the basic internet connection, the very basic internet connection. The productivity tools are optional. It's up to you if you want to get them or not. These are basically add-on extension widgets or any device that can help improve your skills better. So these are the two questions you can ask yourself if you're planning to get into the productivity tools: is how much this tool speeds up your workflow, and is the increased workflow the cost of the tool. So if those questions are according to your need, then the answer of whether you should get it or not is pretty clear. So the freelancer, if you are a person that has no skill or no experience in freelancing, you can still freelance. All you need to do is choose a skill that people want to buy. You can either go for a mainstream skill. These skills are usually hard to learn somewhat, but they pay good. And these are but if you don't want to get into any formal training, there are jobs that you can do, like virtual assistant, support staff, content writer, data entering, scheduling, minute recording. These jobs actually can help you earn good money. So that was everything about freelancing that you need to know. What There's another thing that you should also know is the kind of person that can never be successful in freelancing. If you check any of the following boxes, I recommend you to not waste your time and just continue on with the things that you're doing. So a person that has zero to very bad communication skills or English skills, has bad tones of writing or service that they're providing, does not solve a solution to any client's problem, does not have the skills that can solve the problem, does not have a portfolio, or is irresponsible in their response time, is a person that can not make it in the freelancing marketplace. So this was my attempt in solving a problem, in solving a recent problem. Hopefully, I actually worked really hard on this presentation, this whole report. So I highly recommend you to save it and watch it again, because it was a very researched and very thorough video. And if you have any more further questions, I recommend you to do leave those for me so I can answer those. This is Misha Hassan from Muhammad University. Thank you.